Johnny. Come in.
You just try and keep me out, Paul.
Put Mr. Drake's back in the guest room.
Well,
Delighted to see you, Johnny. Good of you to go out of your way to come here.
anything for you, Paul. Well, least you can do is offer me a drink.
You're looking well.
It comes of leading such an evil life.
Yeah. You always have the knack of pushing things around instead of... Cheers.
Cheers. Now, you, Paul, now, don't you tell me that life's been pushing you around.
Oh. Goes with the territory, I guess.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Ah, come on now, Paul. Let's stop playing cute with each other. We've known each other too long and too well. What's wrong? Would you like to tell me? Maybe I can help.
Nobody can help.
Nothing's as bad as that, you know, Paul.
It's Kathy.
Kathy, what's wrong with her?
You're left alone with a little girl. You tried to be both mother and father to her. Give her love, affection, understanding. Suddenly, what happened? It's my fault. It must be my fault. Somewhere I failed her. But where? How?
Paul, you mustn't blame yourself, you know. No father could have done more for a daughter. I've known Kathy since she was 10 years.
Take a look at that.
Narcotics? Every government has its secret service branch. America, CIA, France, Deuxième Bureau, England, MI5. NATO also has its own. A messy job? Well, that's when they usually call on me, or someone like me. Oh, yes. My name is Drake. John Drake.
Yeah, we know her, Johnny. When we got her, she was carrying a $200 a day monkey on her back. She won't kick that very quick, if ever.
I see. Ed, I'd like you to do something for me.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Just hit back at these people, somehow.
Pick up pushers? Pushers are a dime a dozen. The real targets are the poppy-growing countries. They're all opium base. Eldura's the trouble setter.
Yeah, but surely their government must control the growth and sale of poppies, opium.
Control it. They encourage it. Their attitude is, if you're idiot enough to buy this stuff, we'll sell it to you and thanks for the money. I've got a case here right now. We know they sell to the Mafia and the Corsican organization in Marseille. The government sells direct to mobsters. 90% of it comes into North America, into the veins of kids like Kathy.
And nothing you can do about it.
We knock off a shipment once in a while. We know it's a drop in the heroin ocean. We've been trying for a lot of years to get the wholesalers to buy from Eldora. No dice.
Ed, you're hamstrung politically, but you know that I sometimes do things which are, let us say, just a little unorthodox. Now, if I get caught, it's entirely my lookout, but I promise you that I won't embarrass Uncle Sam.
When you get to Eldora, look up this address. Sandy Lewis.
Well, you know, out here they leave tobacco smoking to the kids. Washington asked me to brief you on the local situation.
I'm interested in a list of the wholesalers buying raw opium from the government.
That list. You know, it'd be easy to get the key to Fort Knox.
Where would the file normally be kept?
The Ministry of Health.
You know, it seems criminal that a responsible government should sell raw opium to known smugglers, doesn't it?
Oh, anything that lucrative to a government, especially out here, automatically becomes legal.
You say that your people have tried to make contact with someone in the ministry?
Mr. Drake, what do you think we've been doing here? Do you think we spend our time sitting around on our office stools? They told me to make quite sure you were comfortable, Mr. Drake. I hope this is all right.
Oh, this is just fine, Miss Lewis. Now, Miss Lewis, since we're going to work together, let's make it a happy association, shall we? Now, back to the problem. You say you've tried to get in contact with somebody at the Ministry of Health?
Yes, we've tried, Mr. Drake, but without success. We've contacted the clerks in the department concerned, but it's far too dangerous for them to cooperate, even for money. But we have pictures of the clerks working there.
Good. He's British, isn't he?
More British than the British.
How do you mean?
Anglo-Indian. I understand he's pleasant, ineffectual, rather pompous, and aggressively English. Name, Thomas Aldrich.
What's the form on him?
Well, he's a relic of the old British colony. Stayed behind after the others had gone. Reduced to filing clerk in the ministry. Pretends to himself that he holds a very sensitive post. Face-saving.
Oh. See, he's wearing an old-school tie.
A what?
An old-school tie. In England, it's almost a cult with a certain type of ex-private schoolman. He wears the old-school tie for the rest of his life. Do you remember the colors?
I think so. It's rather nice. Nasturtium and chalk gray on a black background.
I know them. Southminster, one of England's top schools. Is there a library in the town?
Oh, just the old one the British left behind when they moved out.
Couldn't be better. Would you be kind enough to get me out a yearbook on the English private schools?
Come on, let's go over that last bit again. Who founded Southminster School?
Oddly enough, Sir William Southminster.
Date?
1462.
And what was the name of the headmaster between 1927 and 1931?
Christopher Stainton.
Ah. And how's the school divided?
Into 4 houses. Come in. Into 4 houses, church and old... rail mill, thank you. And rivers and school.
And what are the colors of Rivers House?
Blue and green.
And of Old House?
Red and white.
Ah, full marks.
The old school tie. Do I look like a Southminster man? Thank you. You sure he's coming in?
Certain. Hamid tells me he comes in exactly 3 minutes past 1 every day. Takes a paper from the rack, gets a cup of coffee, and goes and sits at that table in the corner. It's the same routine, year in, year out.
Well, he's got 10 seconds or the routine is broken. 7, 6, 5. Oh, he's early.
Maybe your watch is wrong.
I'm impressed. Did you go to the bazaar the other day?
Yes, and I bought 7 yards of the most beautiful red silk. When do you see it? So I decided I really needed a new red evening dress.
You don't mean to say that you ordered 15 yards, surely?
I certainly did.
Not really. What are you going to do with 15 yards?
Yards, Madam Supercar says she little crocodiles, you know, if it goes over one shoulder and then...
What?
Forgive me for intruding. Excuse me if I introduce myself.
Yes, what can I do for you?
My name is Aldrich, Captain Aldrich.
Yeah?
Oh, good gracious, darling, are you blind? Look, he's wearing an old Southminster tie.
Good heavens. You didn't go to the old school, did you? My dear fellow, by all that's wonderful.
Why don't you
Do join us. Yes, of course.
Well, what a coincidence.
Oh, what year?
I left in 31.
Oh, long before my time. I'm terribly sorry. My name is Drayton, and this is my wife.
I can't tell you how delighted I am to meet you, Mrs. Drake.
How do you do?
And you too, sir. This is a great occasion.
Well, what are you drinking?
I don't.
Oh, now, come, as you say,
well,
it's a great occasion.
I'll have an anise, too.
An anise. Please, an anise.
How long are you staying here, Captain Aldrich?
Oh, I live here.
Oh.
Yes, I'm with the government now.
Oh, yes, how very interesting. What do you do?
Well, let's call it a position of trust, shall we?
Ah, yes. I understand.
I knew you would. Have you been back to the old school lately?
No, not for years.
Great days. What house were you in?
River House. Colors, blue and green. What house were you in?
Old house.
Colors, red and white.
That's right. Great days.
Tell me, Captain Aldrich, why have you never gone back home?
Well, the climate, it no longer suited my wife, you see.
Sorry,
After so
I'm
many...
late, Thomas.
Oh, my dear, allow me to present Mr. and Mrs. Drake, my wife.
Pleased
How
to
do
meet
you
you.
do?
How do you do, Mrs. Aldrich? Won't you sit down and join us? All right. Tell me, Mrs. Aldrich, what are you drinking?
Thank you, Mr. Drake.
Imagine, my dear, I was sitting over there waiting for you, and I saw Mr. Drake's tie. Southminster.
How very nice for you, my dear. It's been so many years since he's last spoken to someone from his...
Captain Aldrich, I have the most splendid idea. Founders' Day falls on Thursday, doesn't it?
Not as I remember it. Founders' Day, 1st of May.
Yes, of course. How silly of me. It's the old boys' day on Thursday. Now, look, they'll be having their annual dinner in London. Now, why don't we join them in spirit and have our own old boys' dinner here?
What a good idea.
By Jove, yes. Well, now we must really go.
Must you?
I can't tell you what this has meant to me.
Well, Thursday it is then at 9 o'clock, Hotel Measloo, and the party's on me.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Nice to have met you, Mrs. Aldrich.
What you're going to do to that poor man doesn't bear thinking about.
It's sad, isn't he? But beside that picture of Kathy, he leaves me cold. And now that our glasses are charged, Captain Aldrich, how about a little toast?
Yes, a toast. Do you remember the last lines of the old school song?
Oh, yes, the old school song.
Those are the days that are gone, the faces forgotten, the memories linger on. The hallowed
Southminster. Southminster.
Southminster.
Southminster.
I can't understand you, Captain Aldrich. A man of your spirit and initiative. You must find the Ministry of Health deathly dull.
No, no, indeed I don't. I hold a post of great trust. They couldn't do without us in the old days, and they can't do without us now. Why, old Farsley, the minister, hardly makes a decision without consulting me.
Really? Well, if you wield that much influence, you're just the man I want to speak to.
Really?
Oh, yes, you see, I'm here on business, and my firm is thinking of putting in a bid for this new hospital construction.
Oh, yes.
Now, under the old Chums Act, you would like to tell me what the rival firms are bidding, would you?
I prefer to think you're joking, old man.
Well, I said under the
I couldn't
Chums
possibly
Act.
tell you that. I hold a post of great trust. Well, here is my minister, Fawzi Effendi. This is a very great pleasure. Allow me to present my very good friends, Mr. and Mrs. Drake, and, of course, you know my wife.
Who is he?
I'm Captain Aldrich.
I think he's a clerk. Yes, a clerk in agricultural files.
That was very rude. Would you sit down, Captain Aldrich?
No background. No background at all.
Quite right. I have the most splendid idea. Why don't we all go back to my hotel and have brandies there? I think we'd find the atmosphere a little more congenial. Yes. How would you?
Shall we freshen up in here, Mrs. Aldrich?
While the girls are away. How about a brandy, eh, Aldrich? Now, about that contract, you know, my company, an English company, mark you, will bid lower, the ministry gets the job done cheaper, everyone benefits all round. Any arguments against that, Aldrich?
No, I suppose not.
And mark you, it will be actually you who's helping the ministry.
300,000 pounds. That's the low bid.
For you.
No,
You earned it.
no. I gave you the information for different reasons. My own. But I hold a position of trust and will not be bribed.
Of course not, Aldrich. No one would ask you. But think of your wife. Isn't it time you were able to do something for her? Ah, Mrs. Aldrich, your husband and I have been having a very interesting conversation. That's a little business, you know. Another
Yes.
brandy, Aldrich?
No, thank you.
You're quite sure? Ah, my dear, all ready? Now, to put the pin in the evening, I suggest that we all go off to a nightclub and have a nightcap or two, or even three. Oh, you've forgotten something, Aldrich. This way, Mrs. Aldrich. After you. Yeah? Aldrich, don't you think perhaps you want to put that in the safe?
My dear chap, I'd like to pay for my share of the fun.
Oh, no, nonsense. Would you put that in the safe for me, please? Thank you very much.
Big Good evening,
Good evening. You remember my husband, Mr. Drake.
Of course, this way.
Okay, my dear fellow. Let's go make out some little money, eh, Aldrich?
Rouge, un pair.
See those
Numéro 7, rouge, un pair.
Why don't you sit here, Mr. Aldrich? That's right.
Drake, if I had known, I would have brought some cash.
So not to worry, my dear fellow. It can all be arranged. You recognize Captain Aldrich of the Ministry? His credit is good?
Of course, sir.
Of course.
Vite, monsieur. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry, sir. There is a limit at this table. We don't accept bets as low as that. Oh, of course, how ridiculous of me. I thought these were tens.
Rien ne va plus. Numéro 12, rouge, a pair.
Number 12.
Congratulations, my dear fellow.
Vite, monsieur. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen.
The winning streak didn't last. It's not allowed to last in the clubs in El Dura. Poor Aldrich. He didn't need any encouragement. He was a sucker for punishment.
Numéro 7, rouge, passe.
Rien ne peut plus. No more bets, ladies and gentlemen.
Mesdames et messieurs, les jeux sont finis. Ladies and gentlemen, the play is finished for tonight.
You must be tired, Mrs. Aldrich. I'll drive you home.
Thank you very much.
Hard luck, my dear fellow, but it was fun while it lasted. You can't win all the time, can you?
You are leaving, Mr. Aldrich? Your account? 12,000. That's not possible.
But you can pay?
Oh, yes, of course you can pay.
We have checked. Your friend is only a clerk.
You're insulting. Of course I can pay it.
Captain Aldrich has a considerable amount of money back to my hotel.
And I suggest we go and collect it.
Yes, of course, if you wish. My briefcase, please. Now, when we've settled this little matter, perhaps we can go up to my room and have another brandy, huh?
That's a good idea.
Good.
Just to the day.
Thank you very much.
Now, if you'll just give me my bill, my good man. I'll soon settle.
Very funny.
What the devil's happened to my money?
My dear chap.
Fendi, it has been in the safe all the time.
You see this? I'm responsible to the casino. Now, I'm trying to hold my temper. I think maybe I can hold my temper till tomorrow afternoon. If it isn't paid by then, sometimes my temper frightens even me.
I don't understand what happened, my dear chap.
Here, Drake. It must be the clerk. He must have stolen it. It's
up.
up.
I think the best thing is we send for the police, huh?
Police?
Yeah.
No, look, I can't do that. You see, a briefcase full of money. I'd never be able to explain
Let's go up to my room and talk about it, shall we? Well, somebody at the desk must have exchanged the newspapers for the money. I don't know how it happened. I'll look into it, of course, but it will take time. I'm afraid that's one thing that man won't give you.
What am I going to do?
Well, you could ask your friend, Mr. Fawsey of the Ministry, for a loan.
No, I couldn't possibly do that.
Bit sticky, isn't it? Of course, I have a friend who might be able to lend you the money.
My dear chap, I couldn't possibly borrow from a stranger. Besides, how would I ever pay it back?
You don't have to pay it back. You can earn it.
Earn it? How?
By getting me a list of the wholesalers who are buying raw opium from the government.
Opium. Do you realize what you're asking me to do?
Yes.
You're asking me to betray... I hold a position of
Now,
trust,
listen,
and you're asking
I'm
me...
sick of your trust and loyalty. Anybody who pays you £10
£12.
a week, £12 a week, can buy your loyalty.
That's not true.
Look, I want that list. I want the names of the men who are buying and smuggling opium. Now, look, do you see this picture? How old do you think she is? 55, 45, 30? I've known her since she was 10 years old. Today, she's only 21. Now, that is what your loyalty is helping to do. Now, Aldrich, I want that list. And I want it tomorrow.
Yes, sir?
That Englishman, the clerk, what's his name?
Aldrich, sir. Captain Aldrich.
I want him in here at once.
Yes. Now, give me files. Files. Send Captain Aldrich to Mr. Fawsey's office immediately. Did you have a nice evening, sir?
No, I got indigestion.
Hello?
gone into the private room.
What's he doing in there? Get him out of there.
Fetch him to the telephone immediately.
I saw him last night with a stranger. Champagne, caviar. Seemed to be enjoying himself. I don't like it.
He's what? He's left the building?
What? Give me that telephone.
Give me reception. If he is the reception, has Captain Aldrich gone through that? When? Carrying what? Send the security officer up to me at once. He's left the building, carrying a file from the private room, agricultural statistics.
Don't you worry about these files, Aldrich. We'll get them back in time, and nobody will ever even know they've been touched.
Strangely enough, I don't care anymore. I know what this will mean to me. And to my poor wife, of course. If they find out. But all last night after I left you, I couldn't sleep.
And don't worry about your losses either.
I didn't. I was thinking about the picture of that poor child you showed me.
Open the door, sir. This is the police.
Right. Sit down there, quick.
A little more profile. A little more. Yeah, that's good. Very good. Now the smile. Very nice. Now, what can I do for you?
You're all coming with me. Search your apartments. And bring the camera.
The camera?
And so you were just taking the lists home to work on them, hmm?
That is not unusual.
Camera. And this, too, is not unusual? Come now, Captain Aldrich, surely you can think of a better story than that.
Oh, that's your story.
And yours, too, Mr. Drake. You, of course, were not photographing the list with this camera, hmm?
No, I was not.
No, you were just taking some pictures of your friend, Major Aldrich, to sell to the tourists in the Medina's risque postcards.
Yeah, charming.
Yes. A very serious charge for you, Mr. Drake. Espionage, good for at least 10 years. And you, Colonel Aldrich, as soon as these negatives are printed, you will be what we might call morgue fruit.
Morgue fruit.
Ah, here we are. Nice, clear, glossy prints. Now we shall see. What's this?
Have a look. How'd they come out? Oh, they're quite good. Excuse me, please. There's a nice one now. F8 at 250. And see that one? Cross-lighting. Excellent effect, don't you think? And there's a very good one here of you, Captain Aldrich. And your boys look very nice in the background, don't they, Mr. Fawzi?
That's enough. I don't know what trick you've pulled with this man, but I'll have plenty of time to find out. This will cost you at least 20 years.
I consider that a small price to pay, Mr. Fawzi, for regaining my self-respect.
And you? You will leave the country within 24 hours.
Oh, come now. If you had any real affection for me, you'd make it 12. But before I go, I'd like to have a talk to you about the new hospital that your ministry is building.
What about the hospital?
I believe that the lowest bid put in for construction is 300,000 pounds.
440,000. Wait outside.
Captain Aldrich, remember we were having that chat the other day? Didn't you just happen to mention that you knew that the lowest bid had been put in by a French company for 300,000 pounds?
I did.
And didn't you also say that the bid for 440,000 pounds had been put in by the Elac Construction Company?
It was, Mr. Drake.
And is not the Elac Construction Company, Mr. Fawzi, owned by some sort of relative of yours?
You will leave the country with him in 24 hours.
It will be a pleasure, Mr. Fawzi.
But I simply don't understand. You were taking pictures of the lists. They seized the camera and the negatives. What happened to the other pictures?
You mustn't concern yourself with these things, Captain Aldrich. Here we are, you see. Here is the camera that contains the film of the lists.
I see. So it was while...
While the light was being switched on and off over there, the photographs were being taken from here.
What did you want a second camera for, anyway?
In case you betrayed me.
I would never have done that.
Of course not. I should have known. Captain Aldrich, what are you going to do now?
Now? I don't know.
You know, I have certain influential British friends who I'm sure will be able to use a man to whom the words position of trust still have some meaning.
Do you really think it might be possible?
I can make it possible.
Do you know, I believe you could. I'm immensely grateful to you. Well, there's just one thing, Mr. Draper.
Yes?
Promise me, though, that you'll never wear that tie again.
Of course not, Captain Albert. After you.